Well, it's Monday again. Welcome to Astrology for Mystics. I'm your host, Jennifer Jennings. Hope everyone is doing good this morning. There's a lot going on in the world. And I just wanted to come on. I've had a really busy weekend, going to have a really busy week. And I just wanted to come on here and say, hey, I've been watching. I'm always observing. I'm always looking to see what the connections are with Sebastian, with these missing kids, and of course, with the conflict around the world. And the conflict around the world, let me just say that we're going to be having a new moon in Cancer on the 25th. This new moon in Cancer on the 25th is, it's got its challenges. There's major challenges for us as a collective with authority and with the things that are hidden, the things that we would need to dissolve. And Saturn, of course, being in Aries, that's, my main thing was, hey, Saturn is coming into Aries and then it's going to dip back into Pisces. This is a warring time. This is a warring time. And so the puppets, they're playing their roles. We're all playing a role. And that's really the only choice in matter is how we are going to show up and show out in the world and be what we want to see in the world. There's a lot that's taking place that is not what I want to see in the world. I want to see peace in the world. And we can't have peace with war. There's so much warring. But is it fated? Evidently it is. Evidently it is. The things that I saw coming for Sebastian and Chris over the weekend, well, that didn't disappoint. It didn't disappoint in one aspect, and the other aspect, it kind of did, because anytime I see Sebastian coming into transit and shaking things up, I'm hopeful that he would be found, because Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, who went missing out of Hendersonville, Tennessee, February 2024, he's still missing. He just vanished from his home. Just poof. Just poof. So I wanted to go back over those, the things that I'm seeing with Sebastian. I want to go over some of the things that I'm seeing with the NATO summit that is starting on the 24th. So the NATO summit in the Netherlands is going to be going on, taking place during the new moon in Cancer. This is new intentions for home, for family, for land, real estate. It's watery, lots of water with Cancer. And again, Cancer is in the seventh house of the relationships and partnerships with the United States. There's a lot of connections that I'm seeing that are causing me to take a step back and go, okay, all right, how's this going to work itself out? How is this going to work itself out? What connection does what connection does Trump and Netanyahu have? War. And to hear Trump say, thank you, God, after just decimating three, sites in Iran, I'm like, what? Why would you say thank you, God? Love you, God. Thank you. God bless Israel. Let's make Israel great again. What is happening here? I didn't think that there was going to be any more wars with Trump. I thought we were going to focus on home. And then they say that we've got sleeper cells. We've got sleeper cells? So you mean that all of this stuff with ICE, they can't go and round up the sleeper cell people? I don't know. This is not what I wanted for my kids' future, my grandkids, all of that. I think it would be best if we just focused on our own self, focused on home. But war brings money, right? War brings money. So it is what it is. How are y'all doing today? How was your weekend? What's happening? What's going on? We got our chicken coop done. Chickens are safe and sound from any varmints like raccoons and foxes. It's a hot one though. It's going to be so hot this week. So hot. Anyway, let me go ahead and switch this because I want to go ahead and get this going. So first of all, I want to take a look at Sebastian and the transits right now. And I want to remind everybody of what is coming with Sebastian. The things that we could look forward to that could, bring him home. Of course, there's something that, there's things that I may not see either. There's things that I may not see either. So here's the transits on the right. Sebastian's natal is on the left, and he has been missing since February 25th, 2024. And he is in transit today. This is the 456 that I was talking about, that there is a breakup with communications. There's a breakup with communications in the 11th house of groups this morning at a 456. It's in Gemini, so it's here, right? Admetos is here with this breakup, with the burden of communications, the burden of not just communications, but the burden with the ring cameras, with relationships and partnerships here. There's a breakup. Could he be running out the door, calling for help? That's possible too. The 456 that he has in his chart is his midheaven in Virgo. It's also his IC in Pisces. Mercury was coming to that 456 the evening that he took out the trash. When he took out the trash, the 456 was in transit with Mercury. Mercury's the media. Mercury is media. Mercury is the ring cameras. Okay. The lowest point. That was his lowest point. The trash, taking the trash out was a low point. On Sebastian's map, where does that go? It goes to his Aunt Melissa's house and it keeps on going north. Goes into Kentucky and into Indiana on his map. Sure enough. So I do see that this is a 24-hour transit. This is going to be in transit until tomorrow afternoon. So this is one that I'm going to be observing. And as this breakup is taking place, Uranus at a 2920 in Taurus. So that means that Taurus is about values. It's about money. It's about things that we own, things that we take in ownership of, what we truly value. The 2920 is conjunct Venus at a 1756. So Uranus and Venus are conjunct. And Venus is on her way to be at the same exact degree as Uranus, shaking the earth up, shaking values up. We are in, this is major because this means that Uranus at a 29 degree, it's an anaretic degree in astrology. It's very intense. This means that there is abrupt shakeups, not just with the earth, but with we the people, with we the people. It's electromagnetic. It's about the magnetism of the earth. It's about the magnetism of you and me. It's electromagnetic. It's about communications, internet, networking. We could receive a shakeup with the internet, with the networking, with the electricity, with the grid. I mean, it's just things like that, that we could see a shakeup. I don't think so, but you never know. You just never know how this is going to express itself until it does. So let me just say, this is what I'm seeing coming is this 2920 is going to come to a 2922. The Venus of Sebastian, this 2922 is his values, something of ownership, something that we could find of his that would shake things up. The 2922 is coming. It won't be long. During this breakup, during this transit with Admetos, this is what's going to be taking place as well. The 2922, it's going to come into transit tomorrow. We can see that Venus is at a 1756 in Taurus, and she's coming to this degree. Now, Uranus and Venus in Taurus are actually in Sebastian's sixth house of health, his everyday. Actually, Venus is here in the sixth house of his everyday, his health, his values, money. We could follow the money trail. We could follow the money trail to a friendship or partnership here because that's where Uranus is sitting, and it's critical. It's critical with groups, with Sebastian, with where he's at. It's critical. Okay. With wherever he's at, that group that he's with, it's critical. And then what I'm noticing is Chiron at a 2634, Chiron is here, or he is here in the fifth house of kids and creativity, education. This is also where Eris is at a 2539. She is the goddess of war and strife. And it's with the education. Well, what's going to happen is this Chiron at a 2634 is going to hit the TBI. It's going to come over the TBI at a 2642 and is going to oppose Sebastian at a 2642. There's going to be an opposition with this 2642, and other countries have this 2642. Other states have this 2642. And so I'm going to be watching very closely because I'm still looking to understand where Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers could be, where he could be located, where he could be found. I also want to show you that the lunar nodes of fate are at a 2218. The north node is in Pisces. The south node is in Virgo. The 2218 is coming down, even though it's not going to be the same sign, y'all. It's still coming down. We're going to receive a lead. We're going to receive communications. And then Sebastian's Mercury in Sag is going to be in transit with the lunar nodes, not in the same sign, but it's going to grace this degree. And anytime a transit graces one of your degrees in your chart, it will express itself. I promise it does. I've watched it long enough and observed it for years. It's going to. Good morning, BMW Coupe. Hey, honey. Good morning. Still drinking my coffee. Still trying to wake up. We've had a crazy busy weekend. Going to be a crazy busy week too. So that's what I'm seeing for Sebastian is a lot. There is a lot that's taken place. Jupiter is at a 306 in Cancer. Jupiter is expanding everything about home, about family, about land, about real estate. And believe me, when I get on the world stage and I start showing you stuff with the world stage, you're going to trip out. I mean, I know I did. I don't know if you're going to, hang out for that or understand it or anything, but man, let me tell you, this is some crazy stuff that's going down. It really is crazy stuff that's going to be going down in the world, on the world stage. It's just, oh my gosh, it's insane. Yeah, I'm trying to wake up too. I'm just like, oh my God. And then trying to wake up and look at numbers, whoo, tell me it's not so. All right. So the 1704 Juno, the relationship, there is a hidden relationship. Juno is still here. Juno came into this 12th house when Juno was at a 350. Juno is at a 1704, and now she is moving backwards. She is going this way instead of this way on Sebastian. Can y'all see my little cursor? Yeah. So the relationship is here. We have a relationship that's hidden, and we're looking for this relationship that is hidden, aren't we? I mean, we are. And what's going to happen is Juno is going to keep on coming down in degree from a 1740 And she is going to come down to a 1614 and she's just going to stay there. It's not going to be in the same sign. Even when Juno hits that 1701 with the Chiron of Sebastian, it's about the communications, it's about the networking, it's about the videos, the hidden relationship. There is a hidden relationship that is also going to be showing up, and it's going to have to do with when he went missing. The disordered aggression, the darkness surrounding that 1 to 3 a.m. mystery time. But let me tell you, when it does, this is a degree in which Sebastian shares with Donald Trump. So when Juno stays on this degree for 3 days, Juno will be at this degree. It will be at Trump's degree, not the same sign of Scorpio. For Trump, it's going to be Virgo. For Sebastian, it's going to be Sag. This is about another country. This is about radio waves. It's about fire, other people's money. We have a lot that's taken place with Sebastian. And let me tell you, as Jupiter comes up in degree, Jupiter will come to this 432 and will sit and expand the 432. Let me see when that is. Let me see when that is, because you know I'm nosy like that. Where's the transits here? The 432. Let's see how long it's going to take Jupiter to get there, because this is definitely going to be a day that we're going to be observing to understand how this is going to work itself out. Here we go. Here we go. Vulcan is going to be there first. Look at that. Vulcan is going to be there first, and then Jupiter is going to expand. Look at that. The 2642 is going to be coming into transit. So this is, it's going to be some days to watch, because we want to see where we could find Sebastian. So it's going to begin on the 29th. Look, that's 350. That's Sebastian. That's the state of Tennessee. His connection with Sebastian in Tennessee. Oh, yeah. Okay. Let me see. I'm getting too excited here. 2427. So there's going to be a lead here in Tennessee. The 29th. There it is. So this 2428, it also goes to, in Taurus, Venus is at a 2428. This is going to go to Saudi Arabia. It's going to go to Tennessee and Summer Wells and Layla Santinello. The 350, Layla Santinello's cousin. So I can see Layla in this as well. But this is going to be, there is going to be an opposing force with the state of Tennessee and the authority. Interesting. 657. It looks like Terry Bauer socks. Let me see. 614. We're going to go over. God, there's way too much to see. The divine justice is with the state of Tennessee. There's something coming to Tennessee. This could hit the state of Tennessee, and not necessarily Sebastian personally at home, but I don't know. It could be a warring that's coming to Tennessee. Something happening. Because there's the 432. Oh, hold on. Let me look at this. This is going to be on the 29th, Sunday afternoon. Whoa. I can see the vertexes with the U.S. Marshals. This is going to give me a conscious raising experience. This is, yeah. And then the 351 moves off, and then the Mercury is going to come to the state of Tennessee at a 350 and oppose. So we could see, we could be seeing a protest. This 310, this is Russia. Heightened. This is going to be a heightened time. 2938. 20. Oh, that's the TBI. Let me pull up the TBI. Hold on. Because I know that there's going to be the connection with the TBI, and Sebastian is going to be in transit on this day as well. Let's pull up the TBI. Hold on. Hold up. TBI, come on. Sometimes I have to keep doing it because it's not going to, I got so much on here. All right, so let's look at the TBI with this. That's 2938. Excuse me. There's a connection with the TBI on this day. So let's look. And Sebastian, there is an expansion with a timing. Chronos is about time. When Sebastian went missing, there was a shakeup, a long travel with a shakeup. It was in Sag, and it was at a 501. Well, Admetos is going to be at a 501, but it's in Gemini. So whoever has that 5 or 501 is going to come into an opposition with them. And there's a breakup with communications here. This 2938, as you can see with the TBI, it's their Vulcan. It's the 11th house of groups. It's other agencies. It's how the TBI brings in money. Interesting. The flame of life that is going to be opposing, per the TBI, actually it's the physician for, let me show you. Here's the physician. Sebastian's physician. This is the doctor. Okay, a physician is a doctor. This is Apollo, the light bringer. The surgeon. The 2642 is going to be opposed. That 2642 is going to be opposed because Chiron is here, and Chiron is going to challenge the physician. Was the physician opposed when Sebastian went missing? Look, let me just show you something. Mercury at this time is a 340. This is Virginia. The 1411, there is a weight over this 1411, and that is Sebastian's stepsister. There is a weight of home. I see a 1606 times 2. That's not good. That's not good. There's other countries that we are at war with that have those degrees. I'm just looking. There's going to be a flame of life with the networking with Chris Proudfoot. Chris is going to be opposed. There's an opposition. I'm not going to show his chart, but I'm pretty sure this was in transit when Sebastian went missing, this 1032. Yeah, there's just things that are happening here. So on the 28th, the desires for structure, for responsibility, the wisdom of things that are hidden, that is with Sebastian. So on the 28th, we're going to see Sebastian in transit all day. And then on the 29th, we're going to see an expansion with a timing that is absolutely perfect. No matter what it looks like, how it feels, nothing about it. The 29th, there is going to be a perfect timing of expansion. Does that mean that Sebastian is going to be traveling? The 2327, let's see, that's Louisiana, I think, and other course, it's got other countries too. We are reflecting on the health with groups. There's a warring with Mars at a 703, and that Mars is going to come and sit on Sebastian's Ceres. Ceres is about religion. It's about agriculture. It's about directed energy. Let's see, 2158. What else do we have here with the TBI? The 1055, that's going to be Tennessee. There's a divine justice with the Tennessee and the courts. 2158. 2158. Is there a Homeland Security here? Let's see. So I want to say there's a 2154 with Homeland, but I'd have to look at that. Let me see. Saturn is at a 147. What am I missing here? I'm going so fast. What could I be missing? There's a shakeup here about the things that are hidden with evidence. Look at that. The 703. Well, damn, there it is. Mars at a 703 in Virgo, not the same sign as the TBI. It's not in Virgo, but it's where they shine. There's a warring with where they shine with groups. So yes, this could be a day where the timing outside of that courthouse comes to light. And there is a protest. We're going to have to see and see what comes. Wow. But there's definitely a warring. There's a lot of warring with the health of the TBI and their friends, their friend group. And you see that the weight at a 1411 in Cancer, that weight is going to come just a few days later on Wednesday to the 1414, where they're receiving a lot of information. There's a lot of weight for the TBI. Where's the Cancer? 848, 1311, 2016. I'm just looking to see. This morning, the communications with Mercury at a 2235 is bringing them limits and obstacles with children. Their desires at a 618, that is where the flame of life is going to come into in just 3 hours. So Sunday at 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5 o'clock, there's going to be a flame of life with their desires at a 618. And that 618 with Scorpio, with their desires, were actually in transit when Sebastian went missing. It's kind of freaky just how much the TBI was in transit when Sebastian went missing. Sure is. I do see Layla Centinelo here. I do. I see her a lot on the 28th and the 29th too. So I've talked about this, and I'm just going to say it again. It could also be where the TBI, their associates, like, their peers like the FBI, other agencies, it could be that they are meeting at the end of the month and they are talking about Sebastian's case. They're talking about Layla's case. They're talking about Summer's case and all the cases that they have yet to solve, because there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them. We can go back decades. We can look at Tabitha Tudor's case, Martha Leanne Green. I mean, the TBI doesn't have a good track record, and I'm sorry to say it, but they don't. And I would love to say that they do, but they don't. They are having a Venus return Venus here on the 29th is at a 2438 in Taurus, and their Venus is a 2238 in Taurus. Let's look at their Venus return. 2238. We've looked at this. I'm going to show you again. That way we can have this recorded so we can see them. Their little Venus returns about their values. 2238. There's the United States Neptune. That will not be a good day. The sun is shining at a 618. There it is. The 2944. There's Miss Bowersox. There is on the 27th, look at that. There's King Charles, Homeland Security. There is California and Oklahoma. Ooh, big days. Big days. Big days. Oh, God, I'm telling you, 2238. Let's look at that. 2238. Let's look at their Venus return. There it is. It's about their values. It's about money. It's about evidence, because Venus is about things of possession, things that we own, things that we possess. There it is. Let's look at this. Oh, man. Lord. It's reminding me once again, because I've looked at this, now I'm looking at it again, and it's reminding me about the maps that I create. So the maps that I create for Tennessee and the TBI show certain things. The Mars at a 558, Mars is coming to the 559, their midheaven, and the TBI's lowest point. This is in Virgo, though. Okay, so Mars at a 5 degree in Virgo is here. Mars is going to move from the 4th house of home, and Mars is going to come here in the 5th house of kids, the way that they create, education, things of that matter. Interesting. Let me see something. Where is, okay. All right, let me go back. This is interesting to me because the lowest point, or the midheaven, is going to come across the TBI, not in the same sign, because like I said, Mars is here. There's a warring with the way that the TBI creates. There's going to be a warring with the health factor when it comes to children, education. We can see that there is a divine justice at an 1111 with this Venus return and the justice system, the courts, the long travels, the foreign lands, the religious. This is where they are going to be wounded, because the divine justice has already went over and made contact with that Chiron. It's about the investigations from the past that bring warring to the TBI. It just is. I mean, it just is. There is a divine justice. Oh, yeah. There is going to be an opposition with Summer Wells and her father and the justice system. There's the Summer Well. It's still looking to me like I see this 2411. This is going to the Layla Santinello case. I can see that the health factor with Summer and her father and the warring and the drugs, that is going to be in an opposition with Summer and her father on the 27th. And just 2 days prior, on the 25th, that's where there is going to be a transformation with groups in the state of Tennessee. We can already see that this 2641 is about to be at the 2642 and oppose the physician of Sebastian Rogers at a 2641. I mean, at a 2642. So as soon as Chiron comes to that 2642, there is warring with the TBI and the flame of life and their investigation, how they investigate and the evidence that they have collected thus far. We can see that there's a lot of energy here in the fifth house of kids on Friday around 4 o'clock in the afternoon. That 1131, there's a lot of energy, a lot of warring energy that's happening with children, kids, and the TBI. That 1131 is the outer wheel of the TBI. So basically, Ceres is just going to sit here because this is Aries, and Ceres is going to sit here. She's just going to sit here for a couple of hours on Friday, the 27th. So be aware, TBI. You got a lot coming for you. A lot coming. The lunar nodes will have already went over me and Seth with our children. And we have a transformative Pluto is trans Pluto is going to be a 342 in Virgo, and there is going to be a lot of transformation with the health of Michael Proudfoot, Mr. Trucker in California and Oklahoma. He shares, no matter what time he's born, he shares this degree with the ascendant of California. He shares this degree with Oklahoma. Michael Proudfoot does. And maybe other, I don't know everybody else, but look, the dark moon at a 1020 in Scorpio, this is about investigations, and this is about the disordered aggression, about investigations, about things that are hidden, about other people's money, about oil, things that are hidden, murky water, oil, fracking, things of that nature. That 1020 is going to come. There is going to be information that's going to come into the TBI with their work, their everyday, at a 1047. So as soon as that dark moon gets here, it's really going to ramp up. There's going to be a lot of disordered aggression that they are hearing, or it could be that they are apprehending someone. That is King Charles and Homeland Security. They share that. Mercury is at a 125. So Mercury is going to end up coming here to that 559. Let's look at that. What day is that? The 559 with Mercury. That's going to be in the media, a low point with the TBI. Mercury's at a 450. 556, that's the United States. Ooh, that's also going to be, this is an Israel day with China. Mark it on your calendars, July 1st. Israel and China. Yep. Israel and China. There's that 2944. Well, Miss Bowersox, you got this all day, every day, honey. All day, every day. Not good. Not good, because things are going to get shaken up for Miss Bowersox on July 1st. Sure enough. You heard it here, y'all. Let's go ahead and get Mercury to that 559. It's going to be a shakeup with money, with values and things that Miss Bowersox owns. This 344 was in transit when Sebastian went missing. It goes to Israel. It goes to other places as well, like Armenia. It also goes to that 344 goes to Trump, Israel, Mexico, Armenia. Look at this. So this is their lowest point. This is Tuesday at 2:15, and their lowest point, look at that. The 1310 is coming to the 1311. I'm just looking to see what else can we see here, because I'm about to duel it up with the TBI. This is their lowest point. Lowest point. There's a lot of transformation that has taken place with Sebastian. The 456 that he has that is in transit today, Jupiter is going to expand it. Even though it's not in the same sign of Virgo or Pisces, it's still going to expand that degree. There's that 2152 again. I'm seeing this could be Homeland. 2652. Oh. So Venus is going to sit. Let's go ahead and get this to the 2656. So it's going to be a low point for the TBI. And then this 2656, Venus is going to sit on the descendant of Sebastian and going to sit on the ascendant where Maryland, the state of Maryland, rises right there. Interesting. Jupiter is going to expand my values. There is the TBI right there. They're receiving some information. The Mercury is going to the U.S. Marshals. There's that 2938. Now the moon, July 1st at 3:34 p.m. Nashville time. Now the moon is going to oppose the TBI at this moment. At this moment in time, the TBI is going, there is a reflection with groups, with their peers, and there is going to be a opposition at this moment with the TBI. Look at that 1221. There's a lot of energy that's warring with the United States. This is a big day. I'm just getting a headache thinking about it. Venus is going to come to the ascendant of Maryland, but it's coming to the descendant of Sebastian. There's about to be a lot of warring with the FBI. There's going to be a lot of warring with Mr. Bowersox. No matter what time he's born, no matter what time Mrs. Bowersox is born, this is a day to watch for them. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Let me look at the TBI with this. Again, this could be this could all just be about protesting and things like that. I don't know. I would hope one day that this is going to produce Sebastian. No doubt. So we know that there's going to be a wake-up call with groups in the future with justice. Again, there is a lot looming about a protest. So the Mercury here, it's about the media, the children, and the TBI. Yeah. They're the people, we the people are not happy. We're just not happy. We want things done. We want something different to be done to get different results. Let's see. And this is not going to be, y'all, the FBI, all of our agencies right now are not to be relied on. The health of, so this Hygeia out of 1311 in Gemini, we're just playing the numbers game. It's really not difficult. We learned this in kindergarten. The 1311 is the outer wheel of the TBI with home and work. Home and work. And this is going to be about the media and the health of the TBI and why they are not able to bring our kids home. What's going on? What's going on? Can we bring one of these cases to a close? Tabitha Tutors, Martha Leanne Green. It's the same-o, same-o. Same-o, same-o. The 1032 that we saw, the 1033, 1034, that's my degree, my pattern for Chris Proudfoot. There is a justice, and it keeps coming back to him. It keeps coming back to him. Look at that. Here's the dark moon at the 1046. They're going to be receiving information at a 1047 in Scorpio. It's going to hit them here. And this 1047 is also shown in the 12th house of the TBI with the equatorial ascendant. And it's about things of the past. What evidence do you have, TBI? That's all we don't have to know. But can you act? Why can't we understand what happened to Sebastian? Why are you being tight-lipped? It's been a year and a half. Are we going to go 10 years and we're still going to ask you what the hell you got? What you got going on here? The 2938, the moon is reflecting in an opposition. Vulcan is, for me, Vulcan, this red arrow is God's will being done. God's will being done is being opposed with the way you're bringing in money, buddy. With the way y'all are bringing in money. There is something that is off with your kids, with our kids. You see Saturn here? You got limits and obstacles when it comes to kids. So you're going to have to do something different. You got to work with this Saturn rather than it working against you. I want to look at the Homeland Security here. Where's Homeland? Already got it up. Homeland is on the left. This day is on the right. Oh, Jupiter is expanding Homeland right now. Jupiter is at a 304 in Cancer. Jupiter is actually here in the 7th house of relationships and partnerships. However, Jupiter is at the degree of 304. 304. And this is how Homeland is shining. But let me tell you something. There's a lot coming to Homeland, to the FBI, to the Secret Service. Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying. You better make sure you are able to protect yourself and aren't relying on anybody else to protect yourself. That's all I can say. So the 2656 that goes to Sebastian with Venus is going to sit on Sebastian's descendant degree. Let me show you. That 2656, Venus is going to sit here with the relationships of Sebastian. However, Maryland has the same degree. I'll bet the ascendant is then the opposite. So Maryland rises in Taurus at a 2656. Homeland Security is transformed in the public eye at a 2656. So there's something that's happening with Maryland. There's something happening with Sebastian and this agency at this hour on July 1st. Sure is. Venus is going to be at that degree. at the 2656, the 1413. So the weight at a 1405, the weight at a 1405, that's coming in 2 days. That's the 25th, the new moon in Cancer. And with the summit, the NATO summit, it's not going to be working out good. The summit is something definitely we really want to keep an eye on and listen. What else can we see with Homeland besides that? To see if there is anything that is happening with the wisdom, with the Homeland Security, and how they bring in money that's going to come to the physician. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Let's see. 2152. Hold on. 2153. Okay. So that's what I was thinking. Okay. So there is a relationship with communications, and is going to weigh them down with partnerships and relationships with Homeland Security at a 2153. So they will be in transit on this day with the lunar nodes of fate. The lunar nodes are at a 2152. We see Homeland Security is in this as well. They're going to be in this as well. So now I'm going to have to look at Maryland because shit. I mean, I see Venus, and it is a personal planet. So it's personal for Maryland. It's personal for Sebastian. And I'm sure other countries have it, other states have it, but it's just my pattern. It's just my pattern. I recognize them and remember patterns. So I just wanted to look at this and see that 2327 that I was noticing that went to, shoot. Okay. Oh, man. Oh, man. Not good. So Venus is going to sit here. I just noticed that Maryland has a 641 in Aries mark. They make their mark in Aries. That's about warring. It's about the ocean, limits and obstacles, ocean, warring. The warring with Maryland, with Trump and Netanyahu, the president of Israel, is seen here in a big way. In a big way. Let me see if there is anything in this chart besides the 2656 with Venus that can show me anything else about Maryland. Wow. Not good. And I keep saying this because Mercury, what's going to happen is Mercury at a 602 on the 1st, Mercury is going to be here in the 3rd house of communications. And then at the lowest point here, and then Mercury is going to come here with their sun, with their own Mercury. There is going to be a lot of media attention on Maryland, possibly children, possibly publicity, education. The moon at a 2938 would have already went over Maryland's moon here in the 5th house of kids and creativity. And we see that there is a lot of energy that is at a warring 1221. That's the ascendant degree of the United States of America. That 1221 is going to come to the United States. Let's see what else. Oh, there's information right now that's coming in right now all day today with Maryland. Something's up. Y'all, something's happened. There's things that are coming to Maryland even before this day. Lord, Lord. 8:15. So Mars is going to oppose their Saturn. Mars is actually here. It's in transit in the fifth house of kids and how they are creating. And there's an opposition to Maryland and how they bring in money. Could be about the healthcare. Could be about the oceans. And warring. Let's see. 2648. So Chiron is at a 2648. And I see that there is a vertex. There's an intense experience here with Maryland. So yeah, there's things that are coming from Maryland with the Homeland Security. And Sebastian. 1718. Yes. Okay. A lot of our agencies have this 1718. Katie Proudfoot has this 1718. It also goes to Kentucky. There's a warring them in Kentucky. 1702. That's their desires. That is where Juno is going to come. There's things that are not working out. Things that are just really off with Maryland. And this is happening during this time. That's why I'm like, The United States. 23-15-47. There's going to be a flame of life. That's where the flame of life, the dark moon is here. There's a lot of darkness surrounding Maryland. Maryland. How is Maryland with Trump? I don't know the politics there. Maryland lawmakers react to U.S. strikes on Iran. What Melissa Hortman means to Maryland. Okay, okay. She is the one that got unalived. Maryland GOP balks at Governor Wes Moore's $400 million for underserved communities. Maryland couple arrested after leaving 1-year-old in hotel. Well, expectation opening 6 Maryland restaurant. No, that's not it. No, we got a ways to go, but there's something. What are they? A Democratic Party. Democratic. Okay. Makes sense. All right. We may come back to this. We may come back to this because I'm about to flip the script and I'm going to start talking about. This is a big day for Sebastian, but I want to. The first and the second. I mean, there's a lot that's coming over Sebastian, of course. You can look at my other lives to see me playing the tape through. Some of them are 3 or 4 hours long, and it's ridiculous. But I do want to give us hope that he'll be found. The wake-up call with the investigations and the groups and we the people, this 2342 is coming to this 2323. There's, man, there is so much happening. Okay, so I want to show you Donald Trump and Netanyahu's connection because connections matter. They literally matter in the state of matter. So Donald Trump is on the left, Netanyahu is on the right. And I wanted to show you that 641 that I saw in Marilyn's chart, where they make their mark here in the 11th house of groups, and how they bring in money through endings and war. Donald Trump in the 8th house of death, rebirth, regeneration, has a 641 in Aries as well. And that's exactly where Netanyahu has his warring with Eris in Aries at a 641. And so that is their connection. That is their connection, is war. It's warring at home with Netanyahu. This warring at home and the death, rebirth, regeneration intensity with the 8th house of death for Donald Trump. That's their connection. Do they have more connections? Possibly. But this is definitely the war right here. Has nothing to do with anything but their birth time. They're fated with war. War at home with him, with Israel, the Israel that was created in 1948. Okay. The 2642 with Netanyahu, that is also that degree that I've been looking at with Sebastian. Sebastian 1759, that divine justice, that's also with Netanyahu. The 618 that I relate with the TBI, that is also Netanyahu. Do you see what I'm saying? We have these connections that we make in life. When Donald Trump struck Iran, it was in transit with the United States and Netanyahu. There is going to be a relationship that is going to come and sit with Juno at a 1614. That is the physician that brings enlightenment to Donald Trump about health and his life path. These connections that Netanyahu has, where did he go to school? Let's look again where he went to college. Netanyahu went to college in the U.S. where? He went to college at MIT, Harvard. Well, yeah, with technology. This is where he studied, at Harvard. And what's going on with Harvard right now? Let's see. Trump says Harvard has acted appropriately and deal could soon be made. Federal judge blocks Trump effort to keep Harvard from hosting foreign students. Yeah, I mean, just can't make it up, I swear. Just can't make this up. Okay, so let's look at Trump, Netanyahu. Actually, we know that the summit is coming. The NATO summit is coming. And I want to see these connections with Netanyahu and, like we did with Trump. Could be more. I don't know. I'm going pretty fast, but the warring is the one that I'm mainly focused on. I don't really see anything else here. With him and Trump, but I am moving awful fast. So his lunar nodes are a 2045. He does not have a 2045. He's got a 2050. But we're looking for the same exact degree. 2336, 2330. No. The hidden enemies, some astrologers would say that this is a hidden enemy house. This would be a hidden enemy with Israel. This would be a hidden enemy with Mexico. So keep that in mind if that were to be the case. And this would actually be proven to be a hidden enemy house. All right, so I'm going to move on because I don't see anything else. 25, 22. Don't see anything else here. Now I want to show you Netanyahu, and let's look up China. Let's look up China because, it matters, right? Of everything that's going on right now, I think we want to see China's relationship. Where's China? We want to see China's relationship with Netanyahu. So China, Netanyahu. China has a relationship. They were formed October 1st, 1949. Yahoo was born October 21st, 1949. So he was born with this connection with China, with groups. And it shakes things up with how China creates with home and groups in the fifth house of kids and how they create. 458 Uranus in Cancer, 458 Uranus in Cancer. That's a big one. That's a big connection. It's with groups. And Uranus is about the electromagnetic field, space, groups, we the people, networking, innovative technology. And the 458, major connection here. Major connection. Their moon is at a 310. China rises at a 556. They descend at a 556. And I'm going to show you the United States relationship with China as well. These connections literally matter in the state of matter. So Jupiter is going to expand in the 3s and 4s until the end of June. And there is going to be an expansion, an intensity with relationships and health. It's coming. This isn't going away. There's a lot more that's coming that we have yet to go through. And I'm not saying that to scare anybody. I'm just saying this is the reality of it. I showed everybody the other day that there was going to be an opposition with China in the public eye. And there was an opposition in the public eye with China about the Strait of Iran. I want to show you now Netanyahu. I can't wait to get this one out. Let's see, what else do we have? What else? I don't see anything else, but I'm going pretty quickly. So I want to move on, though. I want to move on because I have other things to show you. I've got other things to show. Netanyahu's got a lot that's coming against him. I don't think he really realizes and maybe he does. Maybe he does realize. All right, so 1939. Let me make sure. Okay. Oh, here was another one that he and Trump, I think that that's another one that he and Trump have. Is it 22? No. No, it's somebody else. Somebody else. 2217. Okay. So we see China. There is a technology, a shakeup. Uranus can bring abrupt changes to China's home and Netanyahu's home with relationships and the way that China creates. And that is coming. That 458 is about to have a breakup. It's about to have a breakup. And let me show you what I'm seeing with NATO and Netanyahu. So we have NATO on the left, we have Netanyahu on the right, and we see that NATO their desires. Here's Cupid. Cupid is showing desires. They're your desires. When you see Cupid in your chart, you're seeing your desires. This 2217 with NATO in Virgo is Netanyahu's midheaven. This is where he meets his midheaven with NATO. And his lowest point is at a 2217 in Pisces, which is NATO's relationships. NATO's relationships and partnerships is where Netanyahu has a low point. This is the lowest point that he has. So when Venus comes to that 2655 before she makes it to Maryland and Sebastian at a 2656, Venus is going to be here. And it's about the values of NATO and their groups and their public image. It's the way it's going to be for a moment. But this is interesting that he makes his midheaven, he creates the midheaven here at a 2217 with the desires of NATO. This isn't good. This isn't good for him. I don't think he understands that the destiny is not in his favor because he is Americanized. This is a corporation of the United States. This is barely what I would call a country. This is definitely a corporation. We're about business relations. It's about money. And what brings in money? War. War does. I'm sure that there are more connections with NATO and Netanyahu, but this is the most important, most definitely the most important connection that they have. And I want to show you interesting. NATO, your friend group, leadership, NATO's leader, this 1415. Is that Greece? Yes, it's Greece. And you can look up NATO and Greece and why that would be I'm pretty sure that's Greece. Greece rises at a 1415, I'll bet in Pisces. Greece isn't going to be faring well. Remember the 1606, that's their flame of life at home. They're not going to be faring well. In fact, the Middle East isn't faring well. they're not going to fare well with all of this that's happening right now. There's a lot of shakeups that's coming to Greece. But that 1415 is where NATO and their friend group, how they bring in money with Greece. This could be about death. It's Pluto. It could be about intensity with rebirthing. There's a lot of attention here with Greece and NATO. And again, we're just looking at the numbers right now. Just looking at the numbers right now. His Saturn is a 1523. Netanyahu's Saturn is a 1523. The Saturn is in Virgo in the 9th house. The 9th house is about missiles, warheads, space travel, foreign lands, foreigners, immigration. This is where they really need to examine, or he does. I mean, he does represent Israel, so you can look at it that way as well. Into his philosophical truths. This is where he is slowed down. And this is also where he is hiding things with the Neptune in the 10th house with his public image. With his public image that has a lot to dissolve to get to the nitty-gritty of who he really is and what he really believes with his philosophical truths, with his religion. It's where he's slowed down. He is slowed down. Let's look at the Netherlands and Netanyahu, or actually, let me pull up Israel. Israel. Oh, I've already got them pulled up. Never mind. Oh, geez. I've even got Hamas. I've even got a chart for Hamas. I don't have one for the Houthis yet, but I will. So we have, let's look at Netanyahu and his country, Israel. Israel was created in 1948. And there's the 344. This is how Donald Trump is connected to Israel, is with the transformation of health from things of the past that bring him a lot of attention. And that is where the communications, they make their mark with warring, international warring. They expand communications. They expand the media. And that's where they make their mark. But I'm about to show you Israel and the United States side by side. It's not a good one. So Netanyahu and his country, Israel, there is a lot of expansion that is going to come with the money, with values. That's coming, geez. Because Jupiter is here. Jupiter is coming to that 447 before it comes to the 458. So there was going to be an expansion with assets. Where did I just see that? Where did I just see that? Jesus. 10. I haven't I haven't looked at this connection just yet, so give me just 1 minute to see if there is any connection with him. I've already seen that. Okay, so there is going to be a weight of war with Israel and relationships. Venus. There it is. There's the 1911. I was going to say, I've seen that. So Netanyahu in the 10th house, this is about his public image, and the moon is here next to his south node, next to Neptune. It's really about his belief system. It's hazy. Can't quite make it out. He can't quite make it out. He's been here before. And the reflection of the government, of Netanyahu's government, the reflection here with contracts, with the law, this is where Israel has a conscious raising experience with the relationship in Pisces. It's about spirituality. It's about God. It's about nirvana. It's about endings. It's about the sea. It's about we, the people of Israel, with Netanyahu. So he is connecting with a relationship and his moon and where he's been before, Israel. So that is one of the, definitely one. I'm not going to keep going back and forth to try to see any other ones, but I'm confident that there's a relationship within Israel with we the people, with groups that he's connected with in Israel. Whether he knows this yet or not, there is definitely a connection here. Where's his lunar nodes again? 1554. No. Israel's lunar nodes are a 1341. The fate. No. 723 is his Chiron in Sag. That's, he rises with war. He rises with not war, but he rises with fire, explosives. He rises with a higher learning, with a degree. He rises with foreign travel. The United States rises in Sag as well. Interesting. Interesting. Because he's not connecting with in Israel here. Let me show you Israel and the United States connection, because I think that needs to be shown. And China's relationship, their connection. So here's Israel on the left. The United States is on the right. The United States rises at a 1221 in Sag. Of course, Netanyahu rises. Let me do Netanyahu first. Let me have USA on the left and Yahoo on the right. Okay. So we have the United States. We have Netanyahu. Okay, check this out. So the United States, like I said, rises at a 1221. In Sag, descends at a 1221 in Gemini. It's about two or more people. It's about the communications, the electricity, the electrical grid. It's also about the media. They descend with media and relationships, okay? They rise with a higher learning. They rise with immigration. They rise with foreign travels. They rise with explosives, quick movements in the air, planes, missiles, things of that nature. So they rise at a 1221. We see that Netanyahu has a 1223, so it's not a 1221, but Netanyahu's Venus, his values are here with the United States, and he did come here. He did get a degree. So he did rise with the United States with that degree of a higher learning. And religion, religious is also the Sag. $26.42, $26.09. Let's look. Let's look. He also has his Chiron. He makes his mark, his Chiron, all of that. This Chiron that's in the 12th house at a 723, it's also here. His Chiron sits here in the United States chart. That means that there's things of the past with painful wounds, with Netanyahu, with religion and things of that nature, all things Sag here. All things. He has a 1523. We have a 1524. So his Saturn, our third house of communications with we the people, where we let go, is in an opposition with his Saturn. So we the people don't buy his rhetoric. We just don't. And it's not that's not going to change, because the United States would have to have a rebirthing, and so would Netanyahu, and they're not having a rebirthing. So that's out of the question. It just is what it is. Just is what it is. What else can we see? So we see really no real connection with him and the United States. I'm just going to keep looking, making sure, because we have no connection. We have no connection except to Israel. 2018, 2008, 27, 23. No, we don't have it. 27, 21. No. 23. And it should be up here with him. But we don't. Okay. Let me look at the outer wheel again. No. I just don't see it. I don't see any connection. Maybe I'm just not seeing it. I don't think so. Now I want to show you the USA and Israel together. So here's Israel on the left. The United States is on the right. So the United States, when I told you guys the other day on the live that there's a possibility of war when the lunar nodes of fate come over the 22-25 Neptune of the United States of America. The lunar nodes came over that 22-25. The south node came there. It sure did. The 22-25. I was talking about it on my live the other day. The lunar nodes of fate at a 22-25 right there. And you see that Israel, the 344, Trump, the 344, and the 22-25 with the United States took place on the early morning hours of the 21st. And then the wake-up call that was an opposing force for China took place as well. The 24:45. Right there. And this is showing on the 21st, on Saturday evening, this is showing that there is going to be a transformation with our markets. There was going to be a transformation with Tucker Carlson. There was going to be an opposition with China. And right before that, things were going down with the relationship with Homeland Security, with the relationship with Vladimir, the president of Russia. So this was all taking place on the 21st, going into the 22nd. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's the reason why I was wondering if we were going to be going to war. And that's why. Because this 22-25, I've seen a lot of death with it, with an opposition with the United States. I've seen people die in floods. You know, I mean, I've seen a major opposition when the United States Neptune is dissolved. It's never good. This is in the 9th house. It's about the attention at a 24:53 of the health of the immigration, colleges, religion, explosives. This isn't good. This is showing that the United States hides a lot. Hides a lot at a 22-25. So that 22-25, let me show you USA and Israel one more time. So I can talk about that 22-25 now that I've gotten it out of the way. Where's the USA and Israel? I mean, I just can't make it up. I just can't make this up, man. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Where'd I put it? Where'd I put Israel? Israel. So the United States, Israel's on the right. The 22-25, where we dissolve, this is where the people of Israel have a lot of disordered aggression with groups. This is where Israel has a low point with their leadership, with their structures, with their responsibility. Israel has a lot of disordered aggression with the United States and how they create conflict abroad. So our relationship with Israel isn't what the media is making it out to be at all. And the 1020s that we were seeing, the 1030, that's their Neptune, what they are hiding within the government and the health factor with their government, with contracts, relationships. This disordered aggression with we the people is a major connection that they have. And then Trump, of course, has this 344, and it's about the communications. This is where the structure and the responsibility, this is where Israel makes their mark. Israel's Jupiter at a 2738 is sitting here in the United States, first house. Their Chiron is here in the 11th house of groups with oil, with resources, other people's money. Let me show you Donald Trump's connection to the United States. I think that's important too. I think that's important because it's going to make sense. Hold on, that's the Marshalls. So Donald Trump is on the left. The United States is on the right. Donald Trump in the 12, 11, 10, 9th house. We've been talking a lot about that 9th house in Jupiter and Sag, right? This 9th house is ruled by war. He wars in Aries at a 2109, and then it comes into that 9th house of immigration, of religion, colleges like Harvard. He wars with the head, a head wound, a quick movement of energy, like explosives. This 2524 is where he is weighted down. He has the weight of Hades at a 2524 with warring. He is constantly warring with immigration, with foreign countries. This 2524 that brings war is where the United States has a major attention, major publicity, major public attention with their health, with the health of the United States, with immigration, with foreigners, with foreign travel, with religion, philosophy, explosives. This 2524 is the reason why he has received head wounds to the head. It's why. Connections literally matter in the state of matter. Let's look at the United States with China. There's China. United States on the left, China's on the right. Now let's look. The United States has a lot of transformation. At a 2732, we have already went through the Pluto return, where it brings revolutions to the structure of our government, to the structure of the United States, with all authority. That 2732, we have just went through a Pluto return. It began in 2008, and it's just lifted off of us. Well, that's when the Rona hit, right? And the Rona allegedly came from China, right? On a plane from one of their labs, right? Right. Okay. Just so we know that this is that connection with China, the 2732, where the United States is rebirthed, is where China has their Selena in the 8th house of death, rebirth, regeneration. It has to do with health, things that are hidden, the investigative house. Selena in Virgo is where there is a teaching. She's a code breaker here. She breaks codes. Very, very smart here at a 2732. So that is the connection with China and the United States. Now, China has a 2350 in Virgo. This is their desires in the 8th house, these desires with health at the 2350 in Virgo. Let me make sure. saw it somewhere else, but I'm not going to go. I'm not going to keep going back. The other connection that the United States and China has is the United States, Jupiter, expands relationships, expands international traveling, expands the law with China at a 556. This 556 also goes to Elon Musk. Elon has a 556 in his chart. The United States has a 556, and China rises with a 556 and descends at a 556. So China rises with Aquarius, innovation, networking, groups, and they descend with publicity, children, education, and the literal sun. The sun rules Leo, the lion. And they all are just talking about Leo and the lion, aren't they? They're all talking about the Leo lion. These leaders are like they're talking in code. Bunch of weird shit, but hey. The sun is Leo. The sun rules that fifth house of kids and creativity and how we create. So the connection, I want you to see the connection with China versus our connection with Israel, much different connection. Jupiter has just expanded the assets of the United States with relationships and partnerships. They're trading. The trade war. The weight of Hades for the United States, this 0047, the weight of Hades that is going to Cuba. And you can understand why. That our weight of Hades when it comes to other people's money and the critical government and contracts would go to Cuba. You know why. I shouldn't have to tell any of you why we have this relationship with Cuba and other people's money, the things that are hidden with the United States. Cuba is definitely weighs us down with other people's money and the critical contracts with the government. With not just Cuba, but you got to think about what's in Cuba. Guantanamo, right? Right. That relationship with the United States and Cuba is evident. The relationship that the United States has with China is evident. The relationship that the United States has with Israel is not. It's not evident. It's just not. Let's look at Iran and the United States and see if there is a connection there. Because we would expect a connection, right? With the United States. The United States is on the left. Iran is on the right. We know that China and Iran, the 450, their intense experience is where Iran, they have their desires with oil. This is oil. This is the intensity. Mars is coming to this 819 with their Saturn. Where's Mars? Right now, Mars is at a 333. Mars is right now at the same degree as California. There's a warring here in California, I see. And then it's coming to Canada. All right. Let's go back. So I'm just wanting to make sure we see this. Mars has just went over the 303, I'll bet, in Virgo, but Mars is coming. Mars is coming. The warring is coming. And it's going to slow them down. A lot is coming that's going to slow them down. And it's just inevitable. $26, $25. Oh, I've seen that. I don't see not one connection with them in the United States. I do see connections with them in other states, with the United States, but not necessarily. And I'm going to keep on, I'm going to look for just a more, let's see, 551. No. And I'm going really, really fast. If y'all see it, let me know. I mean, I'm trying here. I'm trying to look really quick. I don't see it. I see that we are 1 minute away. So the 20° and 28-minute in Sag, I see that we have a relationships that's a 2027. And I would say the outer wheel could be wrong, but it's not, because I know that this 2220 is significant for them and their partnerships across the world, with their connections with other people. Let's see, 27 and then 26. And this is definitely, Selena out of 1441 is definitely a part of their life path. Let me look at, him and them. Let's see. And it could be the Donald Trump. Vladimir is on the left. They rise with China and the moon of China at a 310. Their Venus is at a 311. Let's see. I'm seeing way too much. And it doesn't even really have to do with this country at all. It's wild to me. It would come after. The relationship is definitely with them and what they are hiding in the backdrop with groups, with the United States. They definitely have a relationship with him. Iran has a relationship with Vladimir, with the law, with relationships, with the expansion of travel, with things that are they would hold in possession, because this is Venus. Venus is ruling their seventh house of relationships. This is where they descend with money, with their values, with the law, with long travels, with foreign aid. This 1944 brings the conversations with Iran, a wake up call for the groups, for the future, for we the people, with networking, with all things having to do with the future innovation, with networking, with the networking. The electromagnetic field, with energy, with energy, energy with their program, their nuclear program. I can definitely see that. And I know that China's intense experience is going to come, and it's going to have to do with the oil. Let me look at Trump with them, since the United States is not showing. Where's Donald Trump? Right there with Iran, right here. Trump. The things with Trump and the FBI, with communications and the FBI, are not good. Trump and the FBI are not, their connections are not right. Um, Not good. Of course, Trump rises at a 29.55. It's critical that he rises with a lot of attention on his health. No surprise there. But that 25.56 is definitely the FBI. This 142 is the FBI. He doesn't have good support from the FBI. How about that? I'm not seeing any connection yet. I don't see any connection at all. And I'm going pretty fast. We see the 1001, 1002. It's always, it's a minute. It's a minute. But the outer wheel is so important. I've seen the outer wheel show itself. Interesting. It's like he would have, so what would happen is he would have a slowdown with the way he brings in money that's critical with communications and the media. With his values of home and work. And this 20, it's like the 2348 would hit. And then just a few hours later, it would create an intensity for them, but as a whole. And the president of Iran does not have a birth time, so I can't see it. I do have the prince. The prince. Let's look at the prince, because we do have a time for him. And we could use him. Let's see. Yeah, I've tried to create. Where's the prince? It's not showing up. Let me see if I've got him. There it is. The Prince of Iran. Let's look at him and Trump. Let's look at him and Trump. So he's on this side. Trump's on this side. Let me see. We're definitely, yes. So he definitely sends a wake-up call. Hold on. Let me look at the United States with him. Here we go. Now we're cooking with gas here. We can see a little bit more. We can see a little bit more. Hold on. The United States and the Prince, where is he at? Let me make sure y'all are even still with me. Hey, y'all. I don't know if anybody's listening, if anybody cares about the United States and their connections, but I do. So the 1815, that is definitely in an opposition with the United States. God's will is being done here with Vulcan in the 8th house of death, rebirth, regeneration, other people's money, hidden taxes, things that are hidden. There is an opposition with him and the U.S. Boom. Capricorn and Cancer are in an opposition. There's a major challenge. So that means that he gets this wake-up call with investigations with our house of values here. That's a no-go. So that's a no-go for the Prince. The Prince is not someone that is going to be able to, yeah, Jupiter will come and expand and oppose his Saturn. That's, yeah, he's a no-go. Definitely a no-go. 351 in Virgo. That is where he is. He has all of this magnetism. All of this magnetism. And then look, he has a warring at home. Oh, he has a warring at home in the 6th house of health. I see that there is a connection here with him and California. With the warring that would be coming to California. This isn't good. So he's a no-go. He's a no-go. We're not trying to see him do anything. He is nothing. There is nothing special about him. There's nothing. Yeah, there's going to be a divine justice with him and his relationships. Yeah. Jupiter expands. So there is some type of communications, but there is nothing here. Mm-mm. No way. So let's look at him. Yeah, let's look at him and Trump. It looks like he's going to come, he's going to go away just as fast. I don't know. Let's see. Trump. So the Prince of Iran, Trump. There's the 2642. He has a third house of communications. There's this breakup with war. With that 2642, that's Greece, right? Was that Greece? Let me see. 2642. Netanyahu. Okay, so there's the breakup right there with the third house of communications with war. And that's what he is trying to do, right? He is trying to minimize and say, hey, we're ready to take over. I'm ready to, have a new regime. And it's the warring, the publicity. That is his connection with Netanyahu. Okay. Interesting. 2642, that's him. That is showing a lot with Sebastian's case, right? This war with Iran and Israel. Interesting. The 25, 24. So it would hit him first and then us. Oh, God. 52. United States, 53. We can see that the United States has a Mars in Gemini at a 2122. Mars in Gemini is a 2122. And Gemini, 2045, 1753. His magnetism, look at that. That magnetism is a 351. 351. It's in 10 days. But the magnetism is going to be warring with him very soon. There's a lot of warring. Let's look at this. I just saw Florida. Hold on. There's Florida. It's Mexico. Communications and media with the groups at home, with the FBI. There is things happening with California right now. The 1704 with the third house of communications with the relationship, 1704, California. 1704. I just saw that. I literally just saw it. I just saw that. I just saw that 1704. Who has it? So there's already been a relationship with Vladimir. Is it Greece? So it went from it went from Vladimir. This relationship went from Vladimir to Yahoo, and now it's at a 1704. Let me show you Vladimir and his relationship with Israel. This will put things into perspective. Where is he? Let me show you him and Israel. So Vladimir is on the left, Israel is on the right. Let me show you this. So his values with other people's money, with things that are hidden, with oil, with any type of investigation, with Scorpio, death, rebirth, regeneration, this 2941 in the second house. And then we have a 2941 that is in the eighth house with Taurus. So it leads, the 2941 is leading with money and other people's money here. It's about finances, it's about things that he would hold in possession. And this 2941 is where the flame of life with Vesta, this is where he connects with Israel and their public image with the flame of life that is sometimes like Saturn. It brings lessons for the public image of Israel. That 2941 is pertinent. Every time it comes into transit, there is something happening with him and Israel. It's always taking place. If I say there is things coming for Israel and Vladimir, that is why, because this 2941 is, and there's going to be a shakeup. Uranus is going to come to this degree in Taurus. There's going to be a shakeup with values, with resources, things that Israel and Vladimir hold in possession. There's things that are going to shake things up that are going to be unexpected. It's coming. This is not getting any better at all. It's not, it's just not, it's not going away. no matter how we look at no matter how we look at any of this, no matter what our stance is, it's not going away. And we have a lot. I wouldn't say a lot of false flags, but they've already been telling us, and they always tell us what's coming. So this is the connections. And Vladimir definitely has connections with our agencies too, with Homeland. He has a lot of connections across the world. I want to show you Armenia. Armenian people have been they have been taken down through there. Armenia and Donald Trump have a connection. This 1454, that is Donald Trump, his connection with Georgia. But I want to show you Armenia and Vladimir. Because here's the deal. There's an opposition with Armenia and Vladimir that I noticed when I was pulling the charts that bothers me. This opposition is with Armenia, and they shine at a 738 in Libra in the 11th house of groups. It's about their health. It's about the balance. It's about justice. And this 738 in Libra is where Vladimir has his Eris, the goddess of war, how he creates. And this is what, it's not just Iran. You know, there is a challenge. It doesn't necessarily mean that there is going to be warring from him into Armenia, but it could be that the Armenian people being kept down is what he wars with. And I also want to say that the 2944 that's coming, when I saw the things that were taking place with Sebastian, the 2944 that Kathy Bowersox has in her chart, there's a connection with Armenia. Armenia also has this 344 that goes to Israel, that goes to Mexico, and that goes to Donald Trump. Let me just look at the news right now with Armenia. Hey, Hope. Let me get my phone. Let's see. Why does it say no service? Oh, my goodness. My phone is saying no service. Here we go. Let's see what's in the news for Armenia. Armenia denounces Istanbul declarations, anti-Armenia. Everyone is scared. Iranians head to Armenia to escape conflict. Armenian NGOs demand ban of Russian state TV. This is what I'm concerned about, is the Armenian people have already been, this is just a sad state of affairs, because these are real people. They're real people trying to live just like us, trying to make the best of each day. And, Armenia is with Georgia. I mean, it's right there in the middle of all this conflict with Turkey. There's Iran, there's Armenia. So we have Armenia, Jordan, Iraq, Iran, Israel, Kuwait, Bahrain, Qatar, Afghanistan. This is just Egypt. There's Pakistan. Of course, Pakistan's got all kinds of, I don't understand what makes Pakistan so much better. I really don't. Thanks, Jeff. I appreciate you. Armenia, it looks like they have the lunar nodes of fate at a 2050. Their fate with 2050. Let me go back to Iran. Let me look at Israel. Let's look at $2050. Now let me look at Netanyahu. See if he has that 2050. Let me see him and Armenia close together. Oh, I don't like it. Armenia. There's the dark moon in the fourth house of community, the fourth house of home. The warring, the lowest point that he has with NATO is with Armenia. That 2050 is a darkness, a dark moon with war, with death. And that is where they are fated. They're fated. And that's sad. We can see that Armenia and the United States have a relationship, and it's not a good one. It's not a good one at all. And it makes me really sad for the Armenian people when I have traced origins and things of that nature. I trace it back to Armenia. And it is so sad what I see. It's so sad. The United States, that relationship that I was saying, it was just 1 minute off. Just 1 minute off with Iran. But that relationship, that 2027 with Armenia, where did I see it? It's with the dark moon and the seventh house of relationships, with assets, with money. And Uranus is going to come and shake things up, and it's going to sit here at a 2944 with Armenia, and the darkness with the relationship within the government, and the laws are not protecting Armenian people. It's going to be a big shakeup, y'all. That 2944 that we saw with Uranus on July 1st. Let's look at that with Armenia on July 1st. Because it's not just going to shake Kathy Bowersox up, it's going to shake Armenia up as well. It's going to sit there on their 8th house of death, rebirth, regeneration, the earth, the resources. This isn't good. Not good at all. And it'll be a couple of days worth. This is just not good. Armenia. And I'm going to leave it with that. I don't think that I can. This is so depressing. There is definitely going to be a transformation with Trump, with Israel and Armenia on the 1st. No doubt. The dark moon is going to come and oppose them and their relationships. And I say that the 1311, that goes with the TBI, but it also goes to the Netherlands. Is it the Netherlands? Hold on. No, not the Netherlands. Let me see. Yeah, it's with the Netherlands. Look at that. Okay, so Netanyahu, he's got a connection with the Netherlands. Let's look at that, because that's coming into transit on the 1st with the Netherlands. That 1311 that the TBI has, the 1311, and then we know that there's a lot of there's things that are going to be happening in the Netherlands too. They are connected to Iran. This is where the summit is going to be taking place. And Netanyahu has a Saturn at a 1523. That Saturn is connected to the Netherlands. This is where the summit is going to take place tomorrow, the 25th and the 26th. And the Netherlands. Francis Bacon. Francis Bacon, King James. Ooh. The Netherlands is going to receive a major opposition. You see this 544 with Taurus. Oh my gosh. The 544 in Taurus. Let's look at the summit, NATO summit. Let me see if I've got it. If not, I'm just going to show you that 544, yeah, is coming. So watch this. You heard it here, y'all. Can't make it up, can't make it up, can't make it up. Okay, so the 544 that they have in Taurus is going to be opposed. There's the flame of life that's in an opposition. There is the physician. The physician is going to oppose them, the Netherlands. Not good. Not good at all. So the international law is what is attached to Netanyahu right now. That 2400 that you see, it's been in transit for a few days. That 2400 is in Netanyahu's value house with the government, the authority, and it's about international law. It's about international law with his values. And that is what is upsetting the Netherlands, is him, the international law. So that's in transit all day. And again, this 544, this is the third house of communications. This is the communication house. This is the media. This 544 is opposed. And the flame of life is coming to conjunct the physician. Let me show you what I'm talking about, because I'm not just making this up out of thin air. Here it is. There's an opposition with the physician. It's not good. When you have an opposition with the physician, you're not able to go to the doctor. You're not able to receive medical help. This is going to be taking place as soon as we wake up in the morning for the Netherlands. There is things that I'm seeing with Sebastian's case as well. because the 2215 is going to come into that 2214 that Sebastian has with information, the 2642 that he and the Netanyahu and TBI share, that 2642 is coming down into transit with Gemini and the communications. And this 1050 is where Sebastian has his Hygeia. His Hygeia is at a 1050 in the seventh house of relationships and partnerships in Gemini. That's exactly where there is a lot that's taken place around the world. And with Sebastian's case, this flame of life is not, it's going to be opposed, y'all. And it's going to be opposed beginning on the 24th. And then I want to watch this physician. The physician is now, look, the physician is in retrograde. A flame of life. There's a reigniting of a flame of life, and it has to do with the way that we create at a 1050 with the law. There is so much going on here. I can see that there is going to be an expansion when we wake up on the 24th with the stock exchange, the New York Stock Exchange with New York. On the 25th, the new moon, we're going to wake up. Netherlands is still being opposed. They are still being opposed by the physician. That brings enlightenment. And here's the new moon. Here's the new moon, new attentions, new things happening around the world. There's already been a shakeup. Now, now the 2212, that's on Sebastian. It's on his Mercury. There's a lot of media. There's just been things shaken up with the state of Tennessee. Things just been shaken up with Saudi Arabia. All kinds of things are happening around the world. All the while, the physician is opposing the Netherlands. I see things going on with Yemen, with Hamas, with the FBI. The FBI is going to be having limits and obstacles with everything. 141, there's an intensity with the FBI on the 26th. The Netherlands is going to be hosting the NATO summit the 24th, 25th, and 26th. There's the 2732 with China, the United States. We see a reflection of home in Virginia. Lots of things are happening in California. Y'all, this is not going to get any better. There is things that are going to be happening with the state of Tennessee on the 26th with groups. Major limits and obstacles again with the FBI. And then there's going to be major obstacles with Kathy Bowersox as well. Kathy Bowersox, anybody that's still listening about Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers that's missing out of Tennessee, I'm seeing that there are things that are coming about on the 26th for Sebastian as well. The devouring energy that Sebastian has with his son in another country, there is a devouring home energy. That 1542 is also going to Virginia and other places. Not just Virginia, but other places. The 554, all the five, there's a major disordered aggression with the FBI here at home. This isn't going away. This is getting crazy. There's communications that are going to be going on with the TBI. Major things happening around the world. Virginia. They didn't play the tape through. Did not play the tape through. So there is definitely things happening with Kathy and the home, the state of Tennessee, work, authority, all kinds of things that are taking place with Kathy Bowersox and the FBI. Her connection with the FBI, not good. We see that dang it, the physician has finally come off the Netherlands, but nevertheless, there is still an opposition. It's just not at the same degree. It's not good. The sun is shining on the U.S. Marshals here, the things of the past. Lots of things happening in Tennessee. The 143, so the opposition, the things that are going on with the FBI and Donald Trump, this 143, let's look at Trump. We are reflecting with a lot of attention in children and schools. Trump, because Saturn is about to be on him. So the 142, okay, so the 142, that's Florida. 1644 is Florida. It's other states too, but there's something happening in Florida. King Charles, Homeland Security. There is going to be a lot of emotions with King Charles. Homeland. Again, there's California. It's Donald Trump. Saturn is actually here in his 8th house of death, rebirth, regeneration, other people's money, things that are hidden taxes, things of that nature. This is where Saturn is, but Saturn is going to come to that 142 degree in the 12th house, his 6th house. And Kathy Bowersox, no matter what time she's born, connects to Donald Trump with that degree and with the FBI. So the FBI, the 142, it's now at 143. And then Selena is coming to the 2308, coming to Donald Trump's Saturn. The things that he learns is going to slow him down with his friend group and how he brings in money. He's being duped. And then the 311 that Vladimir and China share is coming into transit on the 28th. Right there. And when that takes place, that is when Sebastian has a opposition. He's going to be having an opposition with his own physician. The physician for Sebastian is going to be opposed. There is going to be a lot of transformation, flame of life with the TBI, and then look at that. It's going to come to the 2938 the very next day on the 29th. So we're back here on the 29th. And I'm just going to leave it here because the 29th, that's when the 29th, July 1st. How is this going to work itself out with Sebastian remains to be seen. How it's going to work out in the state of Tennessee on this day remains to be seen. And the world stage is absolutely nuts. It's absolutely nuts. And to say thank you, God, again, after you're dropping, you're ending, it's just, this is not, for me, this isn't, no way, Jose, no. I want to pull up Francis Bacon before I get off here. Turkey is not, Turkey, France, all Germany. I mean, we have got We got a lot that is coming for us, for the world. Not good. I'm looking at Francis Bacon because if you wanted to really understand the workings of the religious movement with Christianity, you would definitely, or you already know, why I would pull Francis Bacon, who was born in 1561 in the UK. And if you don't know who Francis Bacon is, you definitely want to know during these, what people are calling biblical times, because he would be connected in a major way. Let me see when he was born. Hold on. Let me make sure I've got his birth time right with Francis Bacon. Yeah, we definitely have a garden, Hope. If you're still in here, yeah, we got a garden. We sure do. Sir Francis Bacon. Nope, we don't want the artist. Okay, so no, this is another time. I've got 742, so I must have been playing with his birth time. $7:42, there it is. Okay. I must have been playing with that birth time. So let's look at Francis Bacon in the United States for just a second. Francis Bacon. His moon with the values. That's just been into transit with Uranus. He's got the 1414. Okay. The lunar nodes are definitely going to be coming down in degree. The fate, with the information with that 448, 346. There's the 738. Armenia. Armenia and Vladimir. So there is the connection with Armenia there. The 738. I see a flame of life at a 313. That is the Netherlands. Let's see if Google can tell us this. Let's see. Traveled to France, Italy, and Spain. There's no mention of him traveling to the Netherlands or Armenia in the provided information. Some of his work is in the museum at the Netherlands as part of their permanent exhibition. And his estate website talks about this. So the Netherlands is how he is connected with some of his work in the, okay. So France, Italy, and Spain. I would want to look at France, Italy, and Spain and see if they have connections to the Netherlands and Armenia as well. And it's interesting because he, even though he's passed away, his legacy, his work, his life's work, the New Atlantis, everything about Francis Bacon with the secret societies is relevant even today. It's still relevant because his work is still being played out on the world stage. And he received divine justice. Armenia. There's the Netherlands, the 11th house of groups, and there's that museum that he would be connected to, a business of higher learning, the museum. Okay. Francis Bacon online. Today's the 23rd. 2920. So Uranus has already shaken things up with him, even though he's passed. We're still looking at the religious connection. Here's the religion here. This is the religious connection that he has in Scorpio. It's about investigations, things that are hidden, death, rebirth, regeneration, other people's money, how he uses other people's money. There's a shakeup with him in religion and getting a degree in other countries. Five days. 5 days, the burden with relationships is going to show itself in 5 days. That's the 28th. Damn, right now there is a opposition with things of the past with the state of Tennessee. The state of Tennessee. Things of the past, the laws. That's in transit all day today. 2919, 2920. King James, of course, is the same. You know, we can look at King James, we can look at Francis Bacon to look at the religious side of things, because that is, you know, that's where we're going to find the religious side of things, is with their natal charts. We can see that the moon is reflecting here in the 9th house of higher learning in Gemini. The moon is in Gemini at 810, and we're looking at Francis Bacon and the things that are hidden with groups at home, with the business, with the Netherlands. Interesting. Let's look at Francis and the United States. United States and Francis Bacon. He's definitely got with our agencies. His connection with our agencies is with the United States is wow. But here it is in the 11th house of groups, how he brings in money, the long travel, especially with religion, explosives, higher learning, this 313 with the flame of life that is always reigniting a flame with Francis Bacon, the Bible, the religion, the 313. That is where the United States is transformed in the 4th house of home with war. With war. Indeed, with war. That's how Francis Bacon connects to the United States, is through the transformation of warring. We come over, we take people's lands, we do this, we do that, we call it ours, and there is a transformation, and there is a reigniting of a flame of life always. With Francis Bacon, the government, the authority, the secret societies, all things that are secret. is how he connects to the United States. And there's no surprise there. There's no surprise that that's how he would connect. And there's no surprise that he definitely connects to the Armenian people. And you would have to do your own research to see why this man, Mr. Shakespeare, Mr. Poetic, New Atlantis guy, is going to be connected to not just the United States, but the Armenian people. It's the saddest thing. We can look at Vladimir. Jennifer, why are you going to connect, see where his connections are with someone that's passed away? Because this dude is, him and King James are connected to the United States in ways that bring a lot to the table. So this 448, the flame of life that Vladimir rises with, the communications, this flame of life with his life path and the investigation of information that has been written and bestowed to the world by Francis Bacon. He is definitely connected to that. I want to look at him one more time with Armenia. Because it's a sad state of affairs for me to see this. It really is, because the (738), the divine justice here, and Francis, of course, connects to Vladimir through his works and through the warring that was to come. That was to come. That was foreseen. Francis Bacon was a astrologer too. He was definitely an astrologer too. So the connections that he has are ongoing. They're going to be always ongoing as long as we, the people, make sure y'all are still with me. Hey guys, all three of you. I just want to make sure that we are on the same page here, because the things that are coming are definitely religious propaganda. It's propaganda. It's not God. It's propaganda. It's propaganda. King James, the king that has given us the King James Version that most Americans look at. Let's look at King James in the United States. King James in the United States. Well, King James has that 2642 as well. King James has the 2642 as well. That matches Netanyahu. That matches the physician of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. That matches the flame of life with the TBI. King James, well, he's dead. Yeah, he is. He is, but that doesn't mean that his legacy, all of the King James Version, isn't a part of who we are. He is totally connected to the warring that takes place in the state of Tennessee. He's totally connected to the issues that surround Saudi Arabia. He is definitely connected to the learning, the education of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. These connections matter in the state of matter. I'm totally connected to the moon of King James. The moon at a 319 is not just my connection with King James, it's also the connection that the stock market has, New York has with King James. The King James Version, right? The United States is not just connected to King James. The state of Tennessee is highly connected to King James. This is what we call the Bible Belt. Our laws, the U.S. Marshals, the intensity with the state of Tennessee and the Marshals are tied to the King James Version. King James has a burden here. It's this breakup, this burden of the breakup, the health, all the public attention. This breakup, this 558, that is where the magnetism with war comes to the United States. And that's where he draws the line with war. It is. I mean, that's where he would break up. There's a burden with health with the United States. And the King James Version. Beliefs, philosophy. The beliefs and the philosophy. There's a breakup. With the warring. He was born in 1566. The United States wasn't created until 70. That's true. The plan to come here, the plans are not just for, the United States doesn't have just plans for today, for next year. They have plans for 20, 30, 40 years out. They have goals of where they want to see themselves, how they want to see themselves in the world. Just like we do, you do, I do, King James. No matter what, there is a connection. And it's with the Bible. It's with God. And there is a breakup. That's the connection with the United States. And we could look at the connections that he has with other countries, other states. And believe me, I have. The United States, Donald Trump. Where is Trump anyway? Francis Bacon, King James is a part of who we are today. It's a part of your beliefs. It's a part of your beliefs. Remember the 1911 that Netanyahu has with his moon that connects to Israel? That is exactly where the money, the values that Turkey has. So Turkey is not about anything but the money. Their connection is high with Saudi Arabia, Iran. I mean, there is just, these connections are endless. I could show you all kinds of different countries and how they connect. I'm telling you right now, it's not going away. This warring, that it's not going away. Trump, the FBI, Kathy Bowersox also connects to Turkey with communications and higher learning, with the quick movement of religion, foreign travel, the fire, the combustion, the missiles, you know. For Turkey and the United States, their connection is here. The United States and Turkey's connection is with the trade, the arm trade, the armament of war, other people's money, things of that nature. There's a lot of information that is always coming in to the United States, but Turkey at a 518. That is where they shine. Turkey shines at a 518 with other people's money, things that are hidden, investigations, death, rebirth, regeneration. The 518. It's not in Sag. No. Right now, Turkey is receiving a shakeup. Could be about the sea, the oceans. But Turkey's connections are all warring with the different countries. It's all about war. And Mars is coming to the third house of communications with their physician that brings enlightenment. It's coming. It's coming today, as a matter of fact. Most definitely. We got a lot to go through. The way that I view spirituality has nothing to do with war. This is rich men getting richer and the poor getting poorer, and death, destruction. That's not what I foresee spirituality, God, Jesus, Muhammad, whoever your God is. It is not that. But we do live in a dual world where good and bad, life and death takes place. Germany, I could pull up Germany, I could pull up France, Spain. I've already looked at it, and let me just tell you, it's not going away. So I'm going to leave you guys with that. It's pretty dang depressing. Have I ever read the Jefferson Bible? I think you told me about that before. I think I did look into that, the Jefferson Bible. Can I ask any questions for me, ma'am? Sure, you can, Narrow Bridge, but you would have to give me all your birth information if you're trying to get personal information. So we're asked about the Jefferson Bible. It was originally published in 1895. So we have another Bible. We've got a lot of Bibles. We have a lot of Bibles that have been published. This one was created or published in 1895. It was created in 1819. It's in English, French, Latin, Greek. acquired by the Smithsonian Institute. The Life and Morals of Jesus of Nazareth. The Philosophy of Jesus of Nazareth. And it was constructed by Thomas Jefferson. So now we've got a Thomas Jefferson philosophy, right? So now we have Thomas Jefferson that has this philosophy and what he created about Jesus of Nazareth. So let's look at Thomas Jefferson. Let me see. Let me see if I have that chart. And if Thomas Jefferson doesn't have the birth time, then I'm not going to be able to. Let's see. Thomas Jefferson birth chart. Time unknown. So we don't have a time. And of course, he died on July 4th. He died on July 4th. He was born in, let's see, Shadwell, Virginia. Let's see, April 2nd, 1743. How convenient they wouldn't have his birth time. April 2nd, 1743. We'll look at Shadwell, Virginia. I'll go ahead and save it. Let's look. His lunar nodes are 2050, so we could be around, yeah, this could be a good time for him. That would definitely go to the warring that's happening. His Saturn is a 2929. We know that there's going to be a shakeup. His pain is with the United States at a 9/11. Look at that, 2642. That would definitely go to Netanyahu, a shakeup with Netanyahu. And I bet the dark moon would go to Trump. And it could be that the values of the United States are 1604. We could go backwards. Don't know what time he's born, but I would say that the Chiron is probably right. Yeah. Interesting. 2159. Let's look at King James with him and Thomas Jefferson. His midheaven would be at 2543 at this time. Dang. That is the values of King James. But the midheaven is 2642. He gets a shakeup with the King James Version right here. Interesting. Interesting. The physician that he has is a 944. That's not going to change no matter what time he's born. That physician is going to be a 944. The magnetism with Zeus in Pisces. The relationship, that 105, yeah, that's where he is. This is his spirituality here. And I'm sure if I were to compare him with Francis Bacon, he would get a shake up there too. We would see those connections to the 2845, 2033 in Sag. This is the higher learning. Chronos and Mitos, the religion and the religious rhetoric, the higher learning. Philosophy is a burden for him, for Thomas Jefferson. No doubt. No doubt a burden. The communications, though, that 1454, I would see that would probably is more likely going to go to him. So maybe in another few minutes. 441, 455. Interesting to see these connections. All right, so it's amazing. It's amazing to me. Was completed in 1804. No copies exist today. The second, The Life, was completed 1820. Cutting and pasting with the razor and glue, blah, blah, blah. Numerous sections from the New Testament, miracles, supernatural stuff. Letter to Joseph Priestley. Jefferson stated that he conceived the idea with the view of the Christian system in a conversation with Benjamin Rush. This is going to Philadelphia. Moving on to the deism and ethics of the Jews, principles of a pure deism. He described it in a letter to John Adams, one of the founding fathers before his presidency. Interesting. In a letter to Bishop James Madison, cousin to the politician and future president of the same name, Jefferson expresses keen interest in Jesus as the philosopher. He writes of the beliefs of German philosopher and founder of Illuminism. Well, who would? Illuminism, aka Illuminati. Interesting. Let me see if I have him. See if we ever got a birth time for him. Probably not. Oh, we do. Let's look at him with King James. Let's go ahead and look at Adam with King James. Hold on. Let me go back. I want to show you that Adam was a German philosopher. He was the founder, professor of civil law, later the canon law, and was the founder of the Illuminati, the Bavarian Illuminati. It's about the Enlightenment. The Enlightenment of the Illuminati. Oh my goodness. King James. King James. He is definitely reflecting with China and relationships. He is definitely wanting to bring enlightenment to the United States of America with their partnerships and values with the physician. Jupiter. Jupiter is expanding. Let's see. I already see connections with Francis, but I'm looking for King James here. There it is. The warring with God, with the sixth house of health, with spirituality, the warring at a 2935, this independence that Adam wants with God, with spirituality, with the 12th house in astrology. That 2935 is exactly where God's will is being done with King James here, with the public image, with the communications. So we see that connection, right? We see that connection. The magnetism with Adam is definitely going against a relationship. There's an opposition, not the same exact degree. We're off 2 minutes. We also need to look at Armenia and Francis Bacon for Adam. Let's look at Francis first. Adam's over here. Francis is over here. Oh, hold on. The 12, 11, 10, 9th house, this higher learning philosophy, the 346 in Cancer. There is a disordered aggression. There is a darkness that comes over Adam with the philosophy and the mental health that he has with communications at a 346. And that is where he is connected to the weight, this burden, this breakup with relationships. So he has a little breakup with Francis Bacon, who is also said to have helped King James. We know that Iran has the 303. This is in the 4th house of home. This is about endings. This is about God. This is about spirituality with Adam and the Bavarian Illuminati. Right there. That's that connection there. This is all the philosophy here with his values and the things that are hidden with the secret societies. I forgot that I had his. I forgot. I forgot that I had this. Make sure some of y'all are still with me. I still got 3 of you in here. Okay. He began his formal education at the age of 7 at a Jesuit school, the Society of Jesus, the Jesuit order, the Catholic Church. the foundation of Illuminati. He was initiated into the Masonic Lodge in Munich in 1777. He used Freemasonry to recruit for his own quasi-Mason. And this is the reason why he is connecting as well to Francis Bacon, because Francis Bacon is also with the Brotherhood. He's also with the Brotherhood. Yeah, he definitely is. That's the one connection. And, all the other connections that he would have, if he did have any other connections with Francis Bacon, that one's pretty much telling all. That one's telling all the disordered aggression that he has with philosophy, with travel, with foreign travel, with learning, leads to a breakup with his philosophies, with his new Atlantis, his visions of the future for America, the new Atlantis. So, yeah. Let's look at Adam and King James. Let me do Adam on the left, King James on the right. This stuff is just so interesting to me to look at connections. It's so interesting. I think I already looked. Okay. I already looked to see what those connections were. There was a 2935. I wanted to see Armenia. See if there is a connection between Adam and Armenia. We know he's got a connection with Iran. We know that. There is a breakup today with the state of Tennessee with 123. There's actually an opposition with Tennessee, but there is a breakup with things, the ascendant and the descendant of Armenia today, all day. There's things that are coming to those people that are just, I really feel for them. I would imagine that we would see a connection with this country and Adam. I just don't want to look for it too long because I got things to do. But I would imagine that there is, if I could just find it really quick. And I'm not going to stay on here for too long. 28. I would really, really trip y'all out if I brought out another birth chart, but y'all ain't ready for that one. Y'all are definitely not ready for that one. Yeah, I'm going to move away. I'm going to move away from this one. Yeah, too long. Too long. wrote a letter to James Madison. I think I do have his chart, but I'm not going to look at that. Where did he die? He died in Germany. Okay, so we're going to pull up Germany with this secret society that, of course, of course it doesn't exist anymore. Yes, it does. These people, they just dupe us. They just, all this propaganda, they having us believe in certain things and just keep us dumbed down and confused. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous how it happens. And the people, the people, don't know any better. And if we do know any better, we definitely lose sight of that gnosis. We lose sight of it. It's crazy to me, man. It's so crazy. So check this out. Obviously, he is going to be connected to Germany. He's definitely going to be connected to Germany. This 718, where he has this 12th house outer wheel. The 1718, where he has this 6th house outer wheel. His relationships are just kind of crunched there. It's about war. There's wartime here. Contracts, government, agencies, the law. And there's definitely an opposition with Vladimir and Germany. Germany and Vladimir, no, that's a no-go. They have no relationship. There's an opposition there. So they'll never have good relations until they have a new birth time, a new birthday. That's evident in their chart. And I'm not going to go back and forth, but Adam, this warring, the 718, this is where Germany's values with God, with endings, with hospitals, this is where Germany's values is with this warring with Adam. That's where they make their mark here. The mark says your life is enriched through developing a set of values. Your lesson is to detach from others' values and build a firm set of your own spiritual values. Your own spiritual values with Adam and the Illuminati. Oh my goodness. The Illuminati. So that's a major one, right? That's major. And it could also signify the opposition with Germany's values with a hidden enemy called Adam. Yep. So that's that. But I can see that there is definitely an opposition with Vladimir, president of Russia. Germany. And look at Adam in the U.S. I mean, he's gone, but his, his philosophy remains. His philosophy remains. So if we look at the United States, see if there's any connection with Adam and that. We know that Germany is connected to the United States. Information and the warring. We know that. They're 1 minute off, but the 1221 that Adam has with the physician that brings enlightenment with values and warring is the ascendant degree at a 1221. That is definite connection, not in the same sign, but there is a definite connection with the philosophy, the Jupiter, the higher learning, with how the United States rises. And he brings an enlightenment. He was born in 1748. United States was created in 1776. So he was definitely around, alive, when the United States was created. So he brings enlightenment. He brings the physician, Apollo, the sun god, the secret societies. Yeah. Sure does. So that's how he connects to the United States. Very interesting indeed. So I'm going to stop this because I've got so much to do. I've got to go. I've got to get out of here. I got to check on my chickens first. So I hope you guys learned a little bit of something about the world, about connections, about Sebastian and the things that are going to come. And I'm going to keep a close eye because I'm just waiting for that moment to have a gnosis of where Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers is and where we can find him alive. There is an opposition. There's a lot of transformation. There's a lot of challenges before us with the world, with the state of Tennessee, things that are coming for the state of Tennessee, but we have challenges every day. It's the only constant is change. And we just got to roll with it. Roll with it. All right. You guys have a good day. I will talk to you very soon. Thanks for hanging out with me and just trying to learn a little bit of something that's different. All right. Until next time. Peace out, y'all.